You have stated that if one stays with fear and not try to escape and realize one is fear, then the fear goes away. How does this come about? And what will keep it from returning on other occasions in a different form? You have stated that if one stays with fear, not trying to escape, and actually realize one is fear, then the fear perhaps goes away. How does this come about? And what will keep it from returning on other occasions in different forms? We have understood the question. May I want to repeat it once more? May I repeat it again? You have stated that if one stays with fear, not try to escape from it, but actually realize that one is fear, that is, one is not separate from fear, then apparently, according to you, fear goes away. How does this happen? How does this come about? And what will keep it from returning on another occasion in different form? Clear? This question is clear now. Please don't accept what the speaker has stated. That's the first thing. Doubt him, question him. Don't make him into some kind of stupid authority. If I may remind you that. Someone, or you've heard, that if one actually stays with fear, then that fear goes away. To stay with fear implies we are discussing it together. The speaker is not stating anything. If we stay with fear, which means not to escape from it, not to search out the cause of it for the moment. We'll go into it. I'm going to go into it very carefully. To stay with it means not to escape, not to seek the cause of it, not to rationalize it, or to transcend it. Understand? To stay with something means that. To stay, when you look at the moon, not to look at it, right? Not to say how beautiful, how this or that, but just to look at it. Be with it. Then it is stated that fear goes away. And the questioner says, is that so? He wants further inquiry into it. You and the speaker are doing the inquiry. The speaker may put it into words, but we are both taking the journey together. Not only verbally, but actually. As he said, what is fear? Fear can only take place when there is time and thought. Time as something that happened yesterday or a year before or 40 years ago, and that's something you should or should not have done, or somebody is blackmailing you about it. Look at it. right? Time is that which has happened, which you are threatened with, and afraid of that threat because you are protecting yourself, and the future is not to be afraid, right? So the whole movement of fear is time, the past, right? Which meeting the present creates the feeling, the reaction of fear, right? And that continues in the future. So that's a problem of time, right? Is this clear? Are we together in this? Time is a factor bringing about fear, right? I have a job now, but I might lose the job, right? The factory might close. It is not closed, but might close, which is future. It may be tomorrow or 20 years hence. But the fear that it might close, that is thought, thinking about the future, right, which is time, creates the fear, right? So thought and time create fear. That's simple enough, right? One has done something wrong or right or some incident of which is there, and you come along, threaten me with it, right? And I get frightened. Or not frightened. I say, go ahead. You follow? So time and thought are the factors of fear. Clear? Time is thought. They are not two separate movements. Right? Time is movement, isn't it? From here to there. I need time to go from here to that place. I need time to learn a language and so on, so on. Thought is also time. Because thought is based on experience. Acquiring knowledge is time. Right? And memory is time, which is the past. So, thought, time are together. They're not two separate movements. Right? Are we together in this? So, that is the cause of fear. I might die. I'm living. But the idea of ending, which is in the future, causes fear, distance from the living and the ending, which we'll talk about another time. You understand? So, those are the thought. Time is the factor of fear. One has faced this quite recently. Right? We all do. We are threatened by some persons. This is happening the world over. Threatened by one nation against another, or one individual against another. Threat is a form of blackmail. You've done so on, so on, so on. And to be aware when you are threatened, whether fear arises, or you just observe. You understand? You can observe without any reaction. When there is a understanding of the nature of time and thought. The questioner says, how does this happen? Right? How does fear end when you watch? Right? When you understand the nature and watch. To escape, to rationalize, to sublimate it and so on, to go off to an analyst and so on, is a wastage of energy. Right? Indeed. Be clear on this. Let's be clear on this matter. It's a complete waste of energy to escape. Because if you do, it's always there when you come back from your football. From the church, it's always at home. Or after you've taken a lot of drink, it's there. And you can keep on drinking, perhaps that may be one way out. Then become more and more sick or mentally ill. So escape is a wastage of energy. To analyze and gradually discover the cause of fear, either through your own analysis of yourself or the analysis of another, is a wastage of energy. Because if you watch, you can find out what's the cause. Instantly. Which is time and thought. Right? See, unfortunately, we are trained to be dull. I won't go into this question. Knowledge may be making us dull. I won't go into it now, that's too complex a question. We are saying that where there is a cause, there is an end, obviously. If I have some kind of disease and the doctor discovers the cause of it, it can end it, or it cannot be ended. Where there is a cause, there can be an end to the cause. That's a fact. So, watching fear as it arises and living with it, not escaping from it, you begin to realize, see the fact, time, thought are the root of it. That's the cause. And as we said, it's a wastage of energy, escaping, analyzing, searching the causes, and spending days and months and years to find out. That's a wastage of energy. When you conserve energy, and that is not to escape, etc., you have energy. Right? Then, that very focusing of that energy on the fact of time, which is something that happened yesterday, that might cause, etc., etc., right? So, the very conserving the energy dissipates fear completely. Right? Yes. Wait a minute. That is, fear is you. Fear is not separate from you. Right? Is that a fact? We have separated fear from me, right? Which is an abstraction, a division, right? I am angry, there is anger, and I say, I have been angry, which is I am separate from anger. But I am anger. There is no separate person as from anger. And this one must really go into very carefully, or you can understand this instantly. You are greed, aren't you? Greed is not separate from you. We have separated it. You say, greed is separate from me, and I then can act upon greed. I, the thinker, is separate from thought. Then I control thought, right? I try to control, I try to, concentrate and all the rest of it. But the thinker is the thought. Thought has created the thinker, right? No? Otherwise there would be no thinker, right? So, when one realizes the actual fact that fear is you, then the division ends, right? And as long as there is a division, there is conflict between you and fear. But if you are fear, therefore there is no division. The conflict ends. I wonder if you realize this. Right? Is this clear? As long as there is a division between the Arabs and the Jews and the Muslims and the Hindu, Christians and all that division, that creates conflict. This is logical, sane. Right? So as long as there is a division in me as the me and fear, and me and the greed, me and violence, there must be conflict. But the actual fact is, violence is me, while greed is me, envy is me. So, this division which thought has created between me and fear ends. And therefore you have no conflict, and therefore there is great energy. Right? That's a fact. Naturally, when there is no conflict, there is energy. Can we go on from there? This is clear. I'm not teaching you. You are learning from your own observation. So you're your own guru and your own disciple. You're your own teacher and your own, etc. So, and the questioner says, and what will keep fear from returning on other occasions in different form? Right? Fear has many branches, right? Many ways, many expressions, many forms. Fear of the dark, fear of public opinion, fear of what you might do, fear of what I have done, fear of so many things. Fear of one's wife, fear of one losing something, gain, Fear has 1,000 branches. And it's no good trimming the branches, right? Because he'll come back. So one must go to the root of it and not cut the superficial branch expression of fear. One must go to the root of the cause of fear, which is thought and reptile. If one really sees the fact of this, the truth of it, and remains with it, not run away from it, then fear, don't accept, please, most respectfully we are saying, don't accept what the speaker is saying. To the speaker, this is a fact. You might say, oh, nonsense. You live in illusion. That's a perfect right to say it, but it's not so for oneself.